Awesome. Hey, man.
Awesome.
Eric, thank you so much for joining me, man. What's been new for you? What's been going on with you?
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's been I was thinking about this. We've probably gone through a lot of changes, a lot of personal development since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
So, for the guys listening at home, for the audience, we did a call maybe about 6 months ago, and we were just talking about where we're at with business, life, and all that sort of stuff. And I think it was just time to get another call, see what's up, do an interview, and then
Yep.
hopefully give some value to everybody at home listening to this.
Yeah. So pretty much understanding because 6 months ago, I mean, that was quite a long time. We spoke about, I think I was still doing the sales thing. You were in school, and also juggling the job as well. So it was a very interesting time 6 months ago, and especially you graduating from school as well. How was that?
It was awesome. We have a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, even graduating school, that's one thing that I've accomplished. I plan to make some videos about that for my channel, for my audience. I made one video just talking about, advising people not to drop out if they're in school, because it's not a good habit to have. But at least for me, doing school, um, I was always like academically gifted. I mean, we were talking about this before, you were as well.
Yep.
And it's just, if you get a degree, it's something that a lot of people respect. I'm starting my master's program in March, so that is that's just one thing I'm working on at this moment.
Nice, nice. So tell me how you were able to juggle school and a part-time job and also have a business on the side. How were you able to do that?
Do you want me to go a quick answer or a totally in-depth answer?
In-depth answer. Let the people know.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm gonna give everybody watching this the game for graduating school. I'm actually surprised that people in self-improvement don't talk about this because it's another facet of life that you can improve, which is like your academics.
Right.
Um, I'm actually going to start with high school, all the game for high school, and then I'll talk about the game for college. So, with myself, I finished high school in 3 years. And what I did for that was I just looked at which classes I needed to take. I had some, um, I actually had some classes that were taken over the summer, and then some classes in middle school that counted for high school credit. So, basically, I just looked at what requirements were needed
Right.
to graduate high school, and then I just planned out my classes. And I really just gave myself a backup. So I said I want to graduate in 3 years, but if I decide to stay for a fourth, I can do that. So I just made my plan like fault tolerant, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Um, but it's really a skill. Like if you have a goal that you want to achieve, you need to be able to break it down into its like fundamental parts so that you can just check those things off. That's kind of the game for taking classes. Um, for actually doing the class the work sorry, for actually doing the classwork itself, what I try to do is just get as much homework, classwork, get everything done while I was still at school so I could spend time outside of school, like working on my business or going to the gym, like so it didn't interfere with other areas of my life.
Right.
That's the game for high school. If anybody listening wants to graduate high school early, with college. So basically, my story with college is pretty interesting. I went to a community college in St. Louis. I went to St. Louis Community College, and then after a couple months, I just fucking hated it. I really did not like it, so I dropped out. About maybe 5 or 6 months later, a girl who I was dating at the time, she was going off to college, and it was around that time that the class of 2023 graduated, which is what the class I would have been in.
Right.
And that really got me thinking, like, you know what? I think I want to go back to school. I think this is an area of my life that is not finished. So I made a simple plan. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos from people who had finished school, and I just made a plan. I was like, same exact thing with high school. Made a
Right.
plan of which classes I needed to take, and then where I could transfer. So one of the school I ended up going to was an online program at Western Governors University. That's
Right.
WGU. They accept tons of transfer classes from high school, from AP, from CLEP, as well as third-party institutions. So there's websites like study.com and sophia.org where you can take a class online in a way shorter time and it counts for college credit. So some of these classes, literally, I had finished in a single day. I sat down, I read the material, I took a couple quizzes, and I took the final test. So that was one of the reasons that I was able to finish um, in such a short amount of time. Right now, I am taking a couple of transfer classes because I plan to get a bachelor's in finance as well after my master's in IT management. And the reason I'm just doing all of this is because I feel like I'm at a stage in my life where learning is just easy. Like you and I are both young, we
Yeah,
both pick up information quickly. So I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, I can work the entire time anyway. Why would I not capitalize and get as much of an education as I can? Like I know that it's something that I can do. It's something that's easy for me. I have the money to do it. I don't see a reason why I shouldn't. So
right.
that's my thought process with the degrees that I'm getting. But I think it's a mistake that a lot of self-improvement YouTubers make where they say, don't go to school, you don't need school, just drop out at 17 and just be an entrepreneur. I think that's kind of like a cop out. It's like some people will flex that they dropped out of school. And
Yeah.
usually like probably in your family where you come from, where I come from, that is not a flex. So it's kind of like it's a cheap way of getting satisfaction. Like if you think, oh, I dropped out of school, like I'm so cool. It's like, no, you all that dropping out of school is that you avoided work. That's not like if you're in self-improvement, that should not be something that you put value on. At least in my opinion.
I completely agree because if you're in school and let's say you do want a business on the side, you
Yep.
being in school will add that pressure that you need to force yourself to have a really good time management, to be disciplined, to really stick to what you want as far as work wise. So you just
Yep.
have no choice when you have all that amount of work every single day, rather than just dropping out and giving yourself that extra time where you don't know what you're gonna do with it. And I agree with you on that because if you don't know what you want to do in life and you go to school and you put a lot of money to school, you're an idiot. Like you're just an idiot. But if you do know what you want to do with the degree, you know what you want to pursue, and you want to have a business on the side, and you have a structured plan on what you want to do, then it makes sense. It's fine. But a lot of people do it with no planning. They just do it because their friends are doing it, and they just want to hop into it and like everyone else, get drunk on drugs, and it's just a waste of time. So that's the only thing about school that I don't like about it. It's just a whole bunch of people just want to do what everyone else is doing, and it's just a waste of
Yeah, so Sam, what would you advise to like your audience if they are if they've just finished high school and they're making the decision of do I want to go to college? Because I guess there's two sides you can really think about. If you don't go to school, you could end up not really doing much with your life. Like there's a lot of people who take a gap year and it just
yeah.
turns into a gap life. And they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go to school next year. I'm still figuring it out, still trying to
Yeah.
make sure I know what I want to do with my life. You can go to that extreme. But then also, like you said, yeah, some people are not ready to make that sort of like financial burden. Like
Right.
they'll go to school just because that's the path that's outlined for them, and now they're tens of thousands of dollars in debt. So
Yeah.
what do you think is the best advice for like young people in high school who are thinking about going to college?
I think understand what you want to do, first of all. Like truly know what you want to do. And I think if you can, you don't have to know exactly what to do, but just know, give yourself an idea of what you want to be in the future. And for me, like in the beginning, before high school, I wanted to be a doctor, and I had a plan on how I wanted to do that. You know, scholarships, get a high GPA, get a mentor, get someone to recommend me. I had a whole structured plan on how I wanted to be that doctor. Now,
Nice.
most people, they just go to school because everyone else is doing it. I'm like, yo, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that you're just gonna miss out on and waste your time. So for those who are in high school and want to think about going to college, understand what you want to do first for your life. Do you think that degree is going to benefit you? Is it going to increase your status? Is it going to make you more important to your network? Understand what it's going to do for you, and that's where you go, you just go from there. Not just wasting your time or your family's time or anyone else who's willing to invest in you who wants to see you grow. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah.
So the follow-up question for that there's someone watching this video who is thinking, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to school, but my parents are making me. What do you think you should say to them if their parents are forcing them to go to college?
I think if your parents are forcing you, you should definitely go, but also give them another let's say let's say for a second you want to business, right? And you do go to college. Give your parents the idea of the business idea you have. Tell them, hey, if this business pops off, I won't need school anymore. But let's say you're like very close to graduation and you just finish the school and the business already pops off. That's a bonus, right? But there's two ways about it. You can A, tell them you take a gap year and do this business idea and create a structure plan around that business, fitness and everything else. Or B, you go with college, get that, time management, get the skill or get that social skill that everyone talks about, and and work on the business on the side. That way you just force yourself to stick to what you said you were going to do, that because your parents are going to keep you accountable. Trust me, mine do. Every single time. Your parents are going to keep you accountable when you give them that business idea. So you better stick to it. And school with the business is going to make sure you do it. So that's just the two options I have. And either way would work out for you for sure.
Yeah, I forgot where you said you were. Are you taking college classes or you decided not to do that?
I will in the future for sure. It's definitely on the plan.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be either this year or next year, but it's definitely soon for sure. It's definitely on the list.
What's your motivation for going? Because you said people to follow. You
Right.
mentioned an important point, which was most successful people have gone to college. You're talking
Right.
about your own family. Most you said that there were some people in your family who were successful and all of them went to school, right?
Yeah, I think the reason why a lot of self-improvement don't talk about it is because they want people to, you know, figure it out by themselves.
Hmm.
I think college gives them that sort of like I said, it depends. It depends what you want as a person. Most people don't know what they want. That's why they go to college. If you do know what you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or any other high level degree, go for it. But if you need college as a way to keep you grounded so that you can focus on your business, that's another way to do it as well. And don't go
Hmm.
to college thinking you're just gonna party and get drunk and do drugs and all that stuff. That's the only thing that is the negative about college. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, but the thing is, you noticed the same pattern that I did when it
yeah,
came to your college decision. You noticed that most people who are successful ended up going,
yeah,
you know, and that is literally the same thought process that I went through when I was not enrolled in school. I was looking at, all so many people who were preaching, don't go to college, don't go to college.
right,
And you look at their actions, and they went to school, So, and I really think it's maybe they didn't notice, maybe they don't really think it helped them, but obviously somewhere along the way that was part of their path.
right,
And there's really two options. It can be they school helped them get there, or they were
right.
going to be successful anyway. And successful people tend to have gone through college just because
Yep.
that's where they go,
Yeah,
you know. But either like what my biggest argument is that even if even if the people are even if they would have been successful anyway, if they didn't go to school, by going to school, you now are in touch with those kinds of people. There's a network aspect,
right,
and you do get credibility. If you say, "Oh, I'm a high school dropout," that is one thing you could say. But people do respect the fact, like, "Oh, shoot, dude, you have a master's degree. You have a double major. That's impressive." You know.
right.
So there are a lot of ways to look at it. But that's really just my thought. There's so many people in self improvement which who will say don't go to school, and I think that's just kind of an unfounded decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're running out of time. That's
yeah,
crazy.
dude. If it knocks us off, we can just do another Zoom call.
So, what made you decide to do the agency route?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been in the agency space, which is for those who are not familiar with the term agency. Basically, the agency business model is that there's a business that is looking for a service and you fulfill it. When you begin an agency, you're essentially a freelancer. You are being paid by a business to do services. You're not a direct employee of them, and they just pay you to take care of these tasks. The
Right,
most common agencies that people run are social media agencies, web development agencies, things like that.
right,
So I've been in the agency space for a while now, and what got me started with the AI agency is that I was doing social media marketing for somebody who reached out to me. We had mutual networks, and he reached out to me and said, I want you to do marketing for my business. We basically don't have any marketing whatsoever. And I know that you, Eric, you're good at it.
Yep.
So we want to bring you on. And from that point, I started working with him. And then I just got a second client, which I can't really go into details about. But from that, from those two clients, um, I would just say an agency. I don't have other staff at the moment.
Right.
So I'm essentially a freelancer, but it's the agency model. And I would even say by using AI in your business, you can avoid necessarily needing to hire other staff. Because
Right.
if like, I mean, honestly, if you know how to use AI properly, you can save enough time to where you don't need to hire somebody and then train them and then manage them, make sure they're doing their work and all that. So that's kind of the benefit of learning this technology, which is
Right.
it is something that I talk about on my channel, using AI within your business. Um, and yeah, I also recently had you've seen it as well. I had a TV appearance
Yeah.
for just to discuss AI, which I'm pretty proud of. Um, I'm going to reveal how I was able to do that in my networking course. So like by the time this is live, it might already be up, but I'm just making a hour-long course free on YouTube for you guys to watch. I talk about networking, building connections, how to reach out to people, and you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great stuff. I saw the video. It was really good stuff. So, do you recommend the agency model to those who are starting a business or want to get into the whole business life?
It's what I recommend. Um, because it's something that I can teach. I have a mentorship program which currently has one student in it, and I'm teaching him how to build a business, how to get clients, call them, email them, land them. And so he's building out an agency using the same tactics that I currently use within my business right now. So
Yeah.
that is what I would recommend to people. If anybody is interested, you can go to my website, which is ericotten.us, or you can message me on Instagram about that. But that is what I mean. That's what I would recommend because it's what I do. I don't think you can really recommend something that you don't do. Um, but like I'm saying, there's not one way to make money. There's not some end all be all. There are a million ways to make $1 million, as the saying goes. So I just teach what I know and what works for me.
Yeah.
Um, there's people out there who will teach what they know and what
Yeah.
works for them. You know.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, for those that are aspiring entrepreneurs or trying to get into the business life and everything, what do they have to do in order to get to that position where you own the agencies, you're working with clients, you're teaching people how to do it? What do they have to do?
What do they have to do to get to that point? There I mean, there's two ways I can answer this. The simple question is they land a client and
Right.
that's it. They land a client. But obviously there is work that you have to do beforehand. Like if I were to if you don't know how to do social media marketing, you would have to learn that in the first place. For myself, I've been doing social media marketing since about 4 years now. If
Yeah.
like I began with just YouTube videos, just faceless YouTube channels, where I made affiliate marketing content. So like for me, it's just something that I have the skill set to do, something that I know how to do. Um, but how to get started, I would look at your skill set. What sort of skills do you have? If you don't have any skills that are valuable to employers, you
Yeah.
can learn those. You can learn social media marketing. And then I would just go ahead and pitch a business on it. You go through cold calls. I primarily gotten my work through networking, but there's a lot of ways that you can go about doing that, about landing your first client.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's amazing. So one of the best things I've been looking at, especially with like the agency models, is your ability to work with people that are high net worth. They're already doing so well in their industry. They're experienced and everything. So how were you able to gain the confidence to be able to talk to those kind of people?
Yeah, that's a difficult thing. I in all my content, I talk about the importance of self-improvement. I use the word stacking, which is
Right.
basically if if you're on your mission, you're self-improving,
Yeah.
it affects all areas. So if you are going to the gym, then what's going to happen is you're going to get more confident and you'll be able to speak to people like exactly what you were talking about and
Right.
make more. So I could give you the obvious answer, like going to the gym, getting out of your comfort zone, talking to more people.
Yeah.
Um, for me, what has helped is like by going to networking events, it helps me just carry myself in a different manner. I've
Yeah.
been to some where I, tell people my age, and they're like, "You don't seem like that age at all. Like
Right.
you seem way more well carried." I don't want to be bragging too much. Like I've received comments where they're like, "You're well carried for your age." So it's really a matter of practice. If you are scared, I'll make this very clear for everyone watching. If you are scared to talk to people, that is going to negatively affect you in life. You won't be able to like you can see the woman of your dreams, but if you're too scared to talk to her, she's never going to be your girlfriend, never going to be your wife. You could have a client who you know you could help, who would in another lifetime love your services. But if you are too scared to go up and talk to him, it's never going to happen.
Right.
So being able to communicate, being able to carry yourself and be confident, that is just an essential skill for anybody. Even if you're not going to be an entrepreneur, if you want to land a job interview,
Yep.
you're going to need to be able to carry yourself, to speak well,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest issues that a lot of guys have, right? They don't have that confidence to really go up to someone and they'll talk to them, whether it's a beautiful girl or someone who has a
Yep.
high status or anything.
Yep.
And it's quite damaging because a lot of people are they're quite timid, they're shy, um, don't have a lot of testosterone, and all of that is just like they're lacking so much to be able to walk up and with confidence and really tell someone what they want to tell them. And for me, the way I was able to do that was, like you said, was just talk to more people. And that's why I did door-to-door sales because it was able to break that limiting belief in my head. I'm like, okay, I just need to go through 1,000 people a week and just get the rejections over with. And that's what gave me the confidence to be able to talk to a business owner or talk to that girl and really pitch what I want, get them, I'd be able to talk to them in a more conversational manner because they're humans, right? There's not the worst they can say is no, right? So I think that's super important because a lot of people lack that social skills. And I think I saw someone say this with social anxiety. Like if you are, like you said, if you work on yourself, you go to the gym, all that social anxiety stuff kind of goes away the more you're around people because you're indirectly forced to talk to those people, whether you like it or not. And I think it just goes away the more you put yourself in front of a lot more people. So
Yeah, I would even see it as like I would see social anxiety as a problem, as
yeah,
like literally like a mental defect, if we want to put it in terms of that. Because 2000 years ago, if you were in a tribe and you couldn't speak to other people in the tribe, you would die.
yeah,
You would say, "Oh, there's a buffalo coming. Oh, I'm too scared to tell them." And then you guys all get killed.
yep,
I like it is literally not natural for you to not be able to talk to people.
yeah,
That's like I would go so far as to say that. But like you said, from door-to-door sales that every single thing, everything that you want, you're gonna have to get through the no's to get to the yeses,
yeah,
right? If you're yeah, even doing door-to-door sales, you're gonna be rejected. I mean, you can attest this. You've probably gotten way more no's than you've gotten yeses, right?
absolutely, absolutely. So we were talking previously about door-to-door sales. Door-to-door sales taught me a lot about persuasion, basic human psychology, how to handle rejection, and just overall how to get better work ethic. Like sales taught me a lot about work ethic and because door to door you really have to grind. There's no safety net, there's no paycheck coming in. You have to go get the paycheck yourself. So it's all just straight grind every single day. It's like sometimes during the month I work 7 days a week just to get another close. It was very much hard work. And the best closer that was there, it took him, I think, 6 to 8 months before he started relaxing, started working 6 to 7 hours a day. Before that, he was working 12 hours a day to get to 10K a month. So it was brutal. So door-to-door sales, it is true, it is the most brutal sales job out there, but it would definitely teach you a lot about yourself, about make you more disciplined, make you have more work ethic, better in sales, and make you get used to rejection as well, because the rejection out there is brutal. Like people don't have mercy on you. Slam doors, cuss outs, yelling at you, get off my property. There's a lot of those. So you're gonna have to get used to that. And I went through it and I enjoyed it. Like I said, met some really cool people there. I still have really close friends from there as well. A lot of really good people that want to make themselves better, want to self-improve just like us. So if you are a young guy and you don't know what to do, don't want to go get a regular job, I highly suggest you get a sales job. Doesn't matter what it is, Door to door is obviously, my personal favorite. You can get other like car salesmen, or I heard they're good as well. I did personally solar sales job for door to door. There's pest control, the security. There's so many other type of door to door sales out there, but go ahead and do it. It would teach you so much about yourself and how to actually talk to people for those who have social anxiety. So yeah,
When this interview is over, I'm gonna connect you with a guy who did 30K per month in door-to-door sales. You definitely want to get on an interview with him,
nice,
like
nice.
just to discuss all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What's the appeal of door-to-door sales? Like for the people watching this, they're on self-improvement. What why do they decide to go to, or why should they decide to get into sales, or specifically door-to-door sales? Like what's the appeal? They have all these options. They have a wide array of choices. They want to do affiliate marketing, they want to do drop shipping, they want to do this, they want to do that. What what sort of person listening to this should get into door-to-door sales?
The type of person that wants to self-improve. If you are looking to self-improve, especially if you're a young guy, obviously the first thing in your mind is to do difficult things. And door to
Mhm.
door, believe me, is very difficult. And it would definitely break your limiting beliefs, show you there's no cap to the money. You can make as much money as long as you put in the work. So the reason why it's such a good thing is because it immediately puts you above most dudes that struggle with talking to people or girls or high status individual or just having that confidence to just talk to people in general. It immediately breaks that out of the way. And the money wise, it breaks down that limiting beliefs you had from, the regular jobs from, if you're working a fast food job, you go to a door-to-door sales job, it's completely different because there's no cap to the money. You can make as much money as you want. I've met guys out there in less than 4 months, they're already passing 50K in less than 4 months. It's crazy. So it depends, it's all up to you. And it's amazing how if you just straight up grind and just work every single day, you'll make as much money as possible. So if you're a young guy, you have bad social anxiety, don't know what to do with your life, don't want to get a regular job, you should definitely do a sales job. Door to door for sure is your best bet. So
Right. So I'm thinking if I was somebody who wanted to get into door-to-door sales, what's the exit strategy? Like if somebody's doing door-to-door sales, they don't want to be knocking on doors their entire life. Where do they go from there? Like let's say they spend a year in the game. What happens after that?
depends on what you want, right? So you could stay on door to door. Let's say you're making money with it, you're doing really well. I've seen guys they do the door to door sales, and on the side they get into real estate. I see that that's very common for door to door sales guys or girls. That's a very common thing to do the sales, door to door sales, make as much money as possible, and invest it all into real estate, and to get rich. I've seen it. That's a very common theme in the door to door space. So you can do that route if you don't want to knock doors for the rest of your life. Knock for like 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years, make as much money as possible, and just invest into real estate and just go from there. So that's the route I've seen people do, and it's worked really well for them.
Nice, nice.
So when did you start your journey as far as like online space, like officially, when did you really get into the whole thing?
Look, here's the thing. I think it was never there was never a moment in my life where I sat down and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a total 180, just go a different direction. And
Yeah,
just everything just kind of built upon previous experiences.
right.
So I mean, just with YouTube videos, I watched a lot of creators when I was I guess I'll give a timeline really of like what I've done money wise for everybody to understand. So like when I was 15, I started making YouTube videos with faceless channels. And this was originally just random clickbait content.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I found out that, I could start making money from these channels with affiliate links. So I started putting affiliate links. I said, hey, if you guys want to buy this product, do this. And then I would just advertise the product in the videos. So I started making money doing that. And then I've just had a bunch of different side hustles that involved like digital marketing.
yeah.
And then more recently, that's just gotten into the agency space. So yeah, I mean, saying I what at what point did I just get into it? I don't know. I mean, I could make a delineation at this exact point, but it was
Right.
it was just like a progression. I had these skills, and for anybody listening to this, you can kind of reverse engineer that. Like think, okay, well, I don't need to make a brand new start. Like I don't need to say, okay, I'm gonna do everything different because it's a new year. What you can do is you can look at your past. You can look at what sort of things you've already done and then make a continuation of that. That way you already have like some momentum, you already have some previous experience in something, like because I, I mean maybe there's some people out there watching this who have just done nothing for like the past 5 years, but you've probably done something. Like even if you're sitting on your computer and you're playing like Steam games and you're playing PC games, you've probably done something. You probably maybe I don't know, maybe you ran a theme page on Instagram, maybe you had this community and like there's things that you've probably done along the way. I would hope, honestly.
Yeah.
For some people who are in self-improvement or are trying to start, maybe they just haven't done anything. Um, in that situation, if you're absolutely looking for guidance, that is why I do have programs like my mentorship. Um, but yeah,
Nice. So one of the things you're really good at is networking. So tell the people how they get better at networking, how they can gain the confidence to talk to people with high status, or even girls as well. They want to network with girls. How should they do that? How should they go about that? What's the step-by-step process? Let the people
yeah,
know.
step-by-step process. Networking, that is an all-encompassing art. I'm gonna try to give you a quick rundown with things that you can do now. So the key to networking is that people have incentives.
Right.
They're if you don't play into people's incentives, they're not going to want to connect with you. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make with networking is they don't provide any value. I've
Right.
gotten messages on Instagram where somebody says, "Hey, I want some networking advice. I met a high status individual." This is what they're saying. They say, "I met a high status individual and I want to connect with him. So I asked him to meet up for coffee and tell me about his business." And the thing is, that doesn't the person who messaged me that it
Yeah.
didn't work for him. And the reason is because the person he's trying to connect with is busy. They had their whole life, they have all this stuff they're doing in their life. They
Yeah.
don't have time to just sit down with some random kid they don't know to explain his entire business.
Right.
Because you can actually have somebody teach you, but there's a couple things you have to look at if you want somebody to teach you. The
Right.
first of which is you have to actually show some effort. If you want to have a mentor, if you want to learn from somebody, you have to show that you're willing to learn from them. Because the last thing that somebody who's successful wants is to spend all this time giving advice for someone not to take it because it just feels like disrespectful. This person, they've gotten into wherever they are in life. They obviously want to help other people and want to tell people. But if they give advice to somebody and the person doesn't listen, they're
Right.
not going to keep giving them advice. That is one thing for finding mentors, for learning from people. And then obviously, there's the question of how do I get in the room? How
Right.
do I meet people in the first place?
Mhm.
And there, honestly, what I could recommend is there are many paid groups out there. You should look into all those, weigh the pros and cons, see which ones you would like to join best. There are free networking events in every city. You can look on Google, you can type networking events free, St. Louis, networking events free, Atlanta, Georgia, whatever city you're in, you can look up, find free networking events and go there. If you're socially anxious, go there with a friend of yours as well. So at least, you're not just there alone
Yeah.
if that's something you're afraid of doing. I'll just go to some alone because it's not really like an issue.
Yeah.
But if you if you are like suffering from social anxiety, literally just tell your friend, hey, I know that networking is going to help. I don't know exactly how yet, but I know that by speaking to the right people, I'm going to point myself in the right direction. So, hey, you and me, let's sign up for this free networking event, put on a nice dress shirt and suit, and go out there and talk to some people. That is literally like the first step that you can take. Don't overthink it. Don't think that I need to have this master networking plan. I need to print my business cards first, like doing any of that.
Right.
It's essentially based upon I would just tell people to take that first step. And then even the thing about business cards, I mean, if you're at like a formal networking event, business
Right.
cards are a thing, like business cards and LinkedIn. If you're at more events where it's like there's more of a brotherhood aspect, there's more of like a friendly aspect, you
Right.
guys will connect with Instagram. That is the networking app. That app is for networking, that app is for business, that app is for dating. So having a solid Instagram will help you with networking because people see photos, they know at least a little bit about you based on like your bio. That like it's rude to say. It sounds so weird to say, but for a lot of people, if you don't have Instagram, you don't exist.
Yeah.
Because let's say you even match with a girl on a dating app. She's gonna look you up on Instagram. She's gonna look you up on IG. She's gonna look you up on TikTok. She's gonna like do her research on you. And if you
Yeah.
don't have an Instagram, that is something they find weird. It's kind of like having an Android phone. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like, you know, you could say, oh, that's dumb, that's a social rule, but it's how it is. You know,
Yeah.
what else can I advise people? Um, Offer value up front if you want to get in the rooms with people. So I've connected with a couple social media influencers simply by saying, "Hey, is it cool if I set this thing up for you?" Whether that is a paid or whether that is a community for their followers
Yeah.
or a social media page for them, helping them out here and there, that can help you get in the door. Like if somebody came to me and was like, "Eric, I want to do this thing for you for free," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, dude!" And like stay in touch with him. Maybe he has some questions. Hey, I saw this video you're talking about, you're talking about business. I have my business. I'm looking for some advice. I'll be
Right.
willing to help, right? So offering things for free, it's a way of getting your foot in the door. You can also do that to land clients. Like if
Right.
you were to say, "Hey, I'm going to do this for you for free," that is one way that I don't particularly advise it to people, but that is one way that you can land a client is by doing it for free, showing that you're competent, and then getting on a paid retainer.
Yeah.
Anything else? Is there anything else like specifically you can think that somebody would ask about networking?
No, I think you're absolutely right. You nailed it on the value part because a lot of people don't always ask that question, like, what value should I give? Well, you figured out what the person wants because everyone has a problem, right? You can find a problem and solve it. The person would obviously appreciate you. And
Hmm.
absolutely right about the free value stuff is that's one of the things I started when I started getting into the agency space is I started giving free value to the people I wanted to do business with. And it worked really well, like absolutely, like really, really well. And they appreciated it. They were very grateful. I had one client, he said, man, I'm so grateful, man. I want to hang up this because I did a website for him. I was like, oh man, I want to take a picture of the website and hang it up in my room. That's how excited it was.
Nice,
So,
nice. Like
so
that is true. Like so if he has a company, there you have to understand that people do have an emotional attachment to their company.
yeah, they do.
So they have their logo, like they want to see their logo and see it look good. They
Yep.
want to know that this company they built can be represented well,
Right.
you know? So obviously like that's why the guy was like, "Hey, I want to put this up on my wall."
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Even
very
or yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, he was very excited. I think those who if you're trying to figure out what value to give, understand what problems people have, and if you can solve that, man, you will be like people will really cherish that.
Yeah, I mean, even going into that point about um he wanted to show something off.
Yep.
You can A good way to provide value to essentially everybody is being able to take photos. So if you
Yep.
go to a networking event where it's like maybe not like it would obviously understand that it depends on the environment you're in. Like
Right.
let's say you go to a networking event and it's like a dinner. If you bring and it's at like a nice restaurant, people are dressed well, that
Right.
you can bring a camera and then offer to take photos of people. And then after the event, go home, go on your laptop, edit them well, do the Lightroom, do your editing well, and then send it to them. Now they know, okay, well, this guy, he's helping me out. He took a good photo of me. This is a photo I want to put on my Instagram because I look good in it. That is one easy way that you can immediately get access to people. Or in this situation, it's one easy way that you can provide value once you already have access to people
I
is
agree.
for to take photos. Everybody likes to see themselves on photos,
Right.
especially if they look good in them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And people, like I said, like you said as well, they cherish that moment, especially if you do them do a really good job. They really cherish that. Now, for the people that are struggling, don't know what they want to do in their life, they want to find purpose. How can someone find their purpose in today's day and age?
Man, that's a deep question. Um, you know what? I want to make sure let's try to be a little bit more precise. What do you mean by purpose? like what makes them passionate? How do they find their passion? Or how do they find like what they want to do with their life? What are we talking about
Like
specifically?
they're stuck. They don't know what to do. Either in a bad relationship or in a bad situation. They just don't know what to do. But they're trying to find a reason to get up every single day and move forward in life, get their stuff together, and just go after it. Get their stuff together and really be a beacon to society. Help their family out. If they have kids, to help their wife and their kids out. What do you say to that guy who's in that spot? How do they get their purpose back? How do they find their purpose to really go after it again?
Yeah, so if somebody is not okay, let's imagine somebody's watching this, they are pretty directionless, they're not um they're not satisfied with where they are. I would say that they need to start seeing compounding wins in their life. So you were saying they didn't really, they were in a situation they didn't like. Um, yeah, I mean, what I would say is like you have to see yourself just as a winner and keep getting these compounding wins.
Right.
So if you are in a job that is not paying you well, finding I mean, obviously continue with that job, but find other ways to make money
Yeah.
while you're still in that job. And then when you get that first client, the first client pays you, you're gonna feel so happy with yourself. You're gonna have this burst of energy. You're gonna be like, bro, like I just fucking got more money. I'm a winner. That's gonna motivate you. Like you're gonna say, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm just gonna go even harder in the gym. Like I'm just feeling myself. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have these other wins in multiple areas of your life.
Yeah.
And if you want to find your purpose, that's never going to come from thought because the mind and the body are connected. So if you are at home and you're not feeling, you're like, oh man, I have poor mental health. I'm not doing anything with my life.
Yeah.
Thinking is not your solution.
Yeah.
Action is your solution. So you're not going to think yourself out of a rut ever. You're going to have to do something. And by doing things, you're going to see, okay, well, I like this. Well, I don't like this. I got to keep going, just sitting at home and thinking like trying to plan out, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
That's not gonna help you because it's thinking that got you in that problem in the first place. You have to literally just take more action and do more things. Even if you don't think that it's gonna pay off. Like you might think, okay, well, I don't know if I want to network with people, it's kind of a waste of time. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you're probably wasting time anyway. So go out there and do that. You know it's probably better than just sitting at home and playing video games, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is you just have to take more action. You know, that's simple as that. That's what my advice would be. Yeah.
One of the things that helped me was changing my environment. That's one of the things that helped me.
Yeah.
When I did the sales job, like the very first, I think it was the first or second day,
Hmm.
and we were doing the training for me to get onboarded into the company and everything. And the guy training me, and I asked him, I was like, yo, is the money here actually true? Or you guys just like lying and trying to get more workers? Like I just being straight up with him, like, hey, like, do you actually make a lot of money? And he was like, yeah, man, that's true. Believe it or not, I made 8 grand last week. It's like, no way. It's like
Nice.
he showed it to me. And that was not the only thing. That 5 minutes later, a big guy came in. He was the owner of the company. I didn't know it back then, but he was super excited to walk in the room. He showed me a check. It's like a 10 grand check. I was like, what the heck? Like at this point, I'm like, oh, they must be playing me or something. But that immediately broke my limiting beliefs. Like, whoa, these guys are like making crazy amount of money in sales. So just that change of environment from working a normal job, a normal construction job, to around people that are making so much money immediately fired me up and make me take more action. So if you're a person, you don't know what your purpose is, I highly suggest you change your environment. Go around people that are doing something in their lives, and trust me, it'll change and break your limiting beliefs so you can take more action for yourself and be better overall.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you just said. I will add one caveat though, because not everything, it's not always just that simple. Sometimes you will be in an environment that you cannot get out of. So
Right.
you need to develop the skill of being able to be around people while not necessarily being affected by them. Like you have to be able to be like in a group, but not of the group,
Mm.
right? So let's
Right.
say let's say you have to like you're just in a stage of life where you're at a job, everybody around you is just, they're always smoking weed. I'm not going to say smoking weed once in a while is a problem, but let's say they make it a problem.
Yeah.
you can still be in that group. You can still be working alongside them, doing your job, while not necessarily being of that group. So you can say, okay, well, I understand they're doing this. I can be around them, but I'm not going to let that affect them. I'm going to understand with part of my mind that what they're doing with their life, the choices that they've made, have gotten them where they are. So I don't want to be in this job forever like they have. I'm going to be in this group, but I'm not going to be of this group. Whether that's, that's like your job with a shitty environment.
Yeah.
You just have to like you can make that a skill because it's just being in control of your mind. Like if you can say, I'm not going to be affected by this person, I'm not going to be affected by that person, that's kind of that is more pragmatic than just thinking that you're always going to be around the right people because you're not. You're going to have to be with people who you don't agree with. You're going to have to be around people you don't like. And even like you're like maybe even some of your clients, maybe some people you work with, coworkers, bosses, like you're not always going to be around people that you 100% respect or you 100% want to emulate. So you got to be able to understand that, hey, I understand that where their point of view is coming from,
Right.
I'm just not going to let it affect me. So
Yeah.
I would just add that caveat. I agree completely with what you said, like control your environment, but also be able to say, if I'm in an environment that isn't the best, I can still use it to my advantage while not necessarily being 100% bought into it or letting it affect me.
Or if you are the person that, can't change that as well, that's what online networks are for, right? You can
Yeah.
join an online network, and that way you can interact with people who are actually doing better for themselves and just interact with them, and you be friends with them, and that way you'd be able to, do better for yourself overall. If you're talking to someone who's already going to the gym every day, making moves, doing a business or doing well in their job, just taking action overall, you'll be able to see that, okay, the life you want to live is possible, and that way you can still be able to, you know, be confident in the situation you're in and still be able to pull through.
Yeah. I mean, what you said about networking groups is that's important. Like it's weird to say, but I think the future is in the very near future, most people will meet their like friends online
Oh yeah,
because I mean, even with dating apps, like people find relationships, find husbands and wives through dating apps, just completely random stranger online. So I think the trend that a lot of people are seeing is doing is that online communities are where people are going to end up meeting. Like, because there's a lot of things. Like you can even see monetarily like what sort of things people are investing in. There's recently news about Alex Hormozy investing in School, which is like this online community platform. You can even see that where big hitters are putting their money is online communities, online platforms.
yeah,
So just analyze like this is what I advise people to do. And where a lot of people make the mistake is not analyzing the world. So you can see, okay, well, the trend is online communities. How do I capitalize on this?
right.
Immediately, you can say, okay, well, I can join online communities because I know that that's where a lot of people are going to be. I can start my own online community. I can help people who have online communities. If you see that there's a lot of money flowing in this direction, just analyze and see how can I capitalize on it. You know,
And it's the future as well. A lot of
it
people
is.
want to join
It's
online
absolutely.
communities, people they can resonate with and have a
Yep.
similar mindset as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how we met.
Literally.
That's
Yeah.
how
We
we
met
met.
through.
And that's
So we
how
did.
most of my friends felt. So,
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, we have not, for the audience watching, we've not met in person. We've spoken on the phone, and we met through Logan Duong's Brotherhood. So that is at Brotherhood on Instagram. It's a pretty cool group, basically based apart around self-improvement, all that sort of stuff. Um, but yeah, so we met through that group. A lot of people watching this are probably in online groups as well. They know the advantages of it. They know that it's going to be useful.
yep,
Um, and even in terms of like business, so like if you are close with somebody already, it makes it easier to do business with them because you're like, okay, well, I know this guy, I trust this guy, I've talked to him for a while. There's more, I mean, you already have a foundation of trust, so it makes it easier for you guys to do business.
yep,
Yeah. So that's another benefit.
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Eric. Where can the people find you? What's your socials? Let the people know.
Yeah, dude, I would say everybody who is listening to this, whether it's Spotify or YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's where you can find long form content like this. Um, I had so actually I did have an old YouTube channel which was terminated for no reason by YouTube. Never
Yeah.
got an email, never got any sort of confirmation. So I would also advise you guys follow my Instagram, which is the Eric Otten, just in case the YouTube gets taken down. I'll put the new one up there. I
Yeah.
hope not. Knock on wood, pray to God it doesn't happen, but it's always important to have a backup. So just give me on those two places, YouTube and Instagram. If you have questions about anything that we discussed,
Yeah.
um, I would say the best way to contact me would be email. So my email is ericottennews@gmail.com. You can just email me there. I try to get through those emails, pretty often. So you guys can find me there.
Awesome. All right, guys. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video and follow my
Yes.
man Eric. And he does really great work. And also follow me on Instagram as well, Eli Umo, ELIUMOH. And get in contact with both of us. We're going to be doing this a lot more very
Oh yeah.
soon.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. It's awesome.
Bye.